Hi Pisces, welcome back. So this will be your mid-April 2022 reading. If you're a new subscriber, welcome. And if you have been here, thanks for tuning in again. Sorry I haven't posted in a bit. I've been sick. So if you hear my nose, like, I sound really stuffy, then that's why. So I'm going to be pulling a past, present, future for you and then one for your person. And then I'll do a bit of oracle cards as well. And I'll just get a general look on you and what's going on with your love life. So let's get started. That one wanted to come out, so we'll do that. So these for your person. For you. Then we'll do person over here. Alright, so taking a look at you here, let's see. So I have the Ten of Wands in reverse, King of Coins, and then the Queen of Wands in reverse. So here I'm already seeing a lot of air energy. You might be Pisces with a lot of air placements. But I'm getting also a sense that you're a Pisces who takes on a lot of leadership. I think, so starting generally with your career, I think that right now at the moment, you are in a leadership position at your work or another sector of your life, or maybe within your friend group, you're like the mom friend or something like that, or even if you're in your family, they might rely on you for a lot of things. But I'm getting a sense that overall you're a Pisces who a lot of people go to you for advice, for guidance, but also for leadership. Because I have the Queen of Wands here and then the King of Coins here. But let's start with the past. So before, at the start of this month, I had the Ten of Wands in reverse. I think you were having a pretty easy time. I think that, I'm getting also a sense that you are in a long-term or stable relationship. Nothing here is giving me, something where you might have, might already have an established crush or a person in mind, but you haven't been super single for a while is also what I'm seeing. That's what I'm trying to say. So with this first card, Ten of Wands in reverse, typically this card would mean you have a lot of burdens, you're working really hard, but I think at the start of this month, it was kind of easy breezy for you. I think that it was unexpectedly easy breezy. I think that while you typically take on this role of looking after others and things like that, I think that people weren't really burdening you with a lot of their tasks. I think even at work too. I think it was just a normal, time at work in April at the start. And I think that things have been working out really good for you. So we move on to the present, and that's where I see the King of Coins. And I think you're noticing in the middle of this month, you have to really lean into that leadership role that you've had throughout your life a little bit more. I'm getting a sense that in your relationship or with your crush, you're the one who has to keep initiating things. So if you're in a relationship, you probably have to keep, initiating date nights. You have to keep reaching out. If you have a crush, you're the one who's texting first. You're double texting, things like that. And at work, I think people are just looking to you to complete a lot of tasks. I think in terms of career, I think you're feeling, not overwhelmed. You have a lot of tasks going on, and you can definitely accomplish them. You're someone who's really confident in your work and your career. But I think that people have noticed how well you work, and I understand how this feels. People realize, oh, they're a really good worker, they're a really fast worker, let me give them all the tasks. And you're noticing that your other coworkers might not have, as many tasks as you, even if you get paid the same. In terms of your love life, though, I think that in the middle of April, you're starting to realize, why am I the one, kind of initiating everything? I think that you have kind of become the dominant one in terms of communication. King of Coins is typically leadership and abundance, so I think that the relationship's going really well. I think you're just starting to notice a shift in the dynamic that you're having. I think at work as well, you're noticing a shift in the dynamic. I think that's what it is. So moving on to the future card here, I have the Queen of Wands in reverse. Typically this would be kind of a mothering figure, you're really driven, things like that. But I think that because of this like shifting, I'll show you the King of Coins here. Because of this shifting, like dynamic and role that you have to take on. The Queen of Wands here, and it was in reverse, is showing that it's all kind of catching up to you, right? So I'm getting a sense as well, this person that you're dealing with also has a lot of air placements, and I think that's why that makes, your relationship a bit hard to communicate. You guys are not, easily emotionally accessible, if that makes sense. Like, you love each other, things like that, but you're not typically, really emotional people. So it's hard for you to express, like, hey, why do you think that I'm the one constantly initiating, constantly reaching out, things like that, if you're in a relationship. For singles, I'm kind of noticing that you're getting a bit tired of, initiating dates, initiating conversations, and you're feeling like, well, does this person even really like me? I'm constantly reaching out. If they liked me, they'd be reaching out, that kind of thing. So stepping back from, like, career, I'm getting a sense that in the future, you're going to start being, at the latter half of this month, you're going to start getting a little frustrated with that leadership role that you have to take on in your love life. I'm going to pull an oracle card just to see what kind of emotional state you're in the present, and see how that's going to guide you into the future. Give me a second. Let's see what comes out here. Family. So how I'm interpreting this is that you are typically someone who brings a lot of stability to the people's lives around you. Like I said, in your career, you're constantly like the go-to person, and you have especially become that person in the middle of this month, and it will be that way going forward. And I think that also in your relationship, so if you're in an established relationship, you guys are looking to make a next step that will kind of like show a lot more commitment, but you are the one, suggesting those things. And I think that's why you feel a bit frustrated. So you have kind of like this idea of stability on your mind. It's just been kind of becoming a burden. I think in the past, how I like to think of the past cards as well is like, that's what we carry with us through the present. So it may be what we experienced before, but I think those same kind of ideas carry with us later on. And although you have the Ten of Wands reverse here, I think it's showing potential for your role in other people's lives to become a lot for you. I think that this idea that you have to be the leader will become kind of a burden. I think that's what I'm noticing. And especially in your love life, I think that's been a lot of, concern, because you're a water sign, you're a Pisces. You want to be kind of like nurtured the same way that you nurture others, and I think that you're not really seeing that reciprocated at the moment. You're kind of like leading everything on your own, and I think that's why we see the Queen of Wands in reverse here, like this kind of like mothering card in reverse, because you're becoming like burdened by this like role that you have to take on in your relationship. So if we look at your person here, so we kind of talked about career and general ideas of like who you are and who you've become during this month, but I'm going to take a look at your person here. So here, they're all major arcana. I have Strength, and then I have the Hermit in reverse, and then I have Judgment. So like I said, I think there's someone who has a lot of air placements. I'm noticing that with the Judgment card here, but I'm also getting a sense with the Strength, they're probably a Leo or or a fire sign that you're dealing with here. I am getting a sense that they're also kind of someone who's like, when you guys walk into a room, if you're in a relationship or if you have this crush, when you guys both walk into the room, people look to you guys both as like really powerful figures in the room. I think that you both have really like big personalities. Like I said, you embody like the King of Coins kind of card here, and they have the Strength and the Judgment card here. And I'm just getting a sense that you both are people who like have these really big personalities. And that's why you work so well together. I think that if you guys weren't together, your previous partners just couldn't handle you guys, if that makes sense. But you can handle each other. But I think the problem here is, what I'm seeing across both of your, spreads here, is that you just aren't communicating enough. I think that because you have, like, fiery personality on fiery personality, you are constantly battling for that dominant position over one another, but it doesn't really have to be that way. I think that when you do that, then the other person kind of falters in the eyes of the current leader, if that makes sense. There has to be a balance. And I think that's also why I'm seeing the Judgment card here. So, all right, sorry for the interruption there. But like I was saying, I think you guys are really strong personalities. I think that's why you work so well. I think that if you were with anyone else, like, they wouldn't really be able to handle it or respond in the way that you, like, need, just because you guys are really strong-willed people. But I think that where the problem lies is, like, this, like, lack of, communication. I think that it shouldn't have to always be this battle of, like, who's the dominant one, who's initiating, things like that. If this is a person you're interested in dating or already dating, I'm seeing that for you, Pisces, this is kind of going to be a problem. So when I look at you guys' your guys' spreads here, kind of like parallel, I'm seeing in the past, they have the Strength card and you have the Ten of Wands in reverse. I think that's kind of showing, like, at the start of this month, you guys are really strong going. I think your careers are going really well. Your other relationships are going well, like with your friends and family. And I think you guys are working really well. I think you were communicating a lot. It felt like, but I think I'm getting a sense here was that you both felt like you had control is why it felt like it was going so well. So then we get to the, present, and we have, you with the King of Coins and them with the Hermit in reverse. And the Hermit would typically be, like isolation, introspection, thinking, rethinking things like that. But I'm getting a sense that you both started to feel a bit prideful at this point in the relationship. I think for them, they started to feel a bit prideful. They were like, well, I've initiated, I've made all the dates, I've done this, I'm not doing it anymore. For you, you were like, well, they're not, making up thinking of dates anymore, making plans anymore, so I'll do it. So it was kind of this, like, battled, idea of, like, who should be in charge and who should, be the dominant one, when it really shouldn't be that way. So then, when I have your Queen of Wands in reverse here, I have them for the future towards the end of this month, the Judgment card, which means that for them, they're kind of reconsidering, like, what is my role in this relationship or in this dynamic? I think that for you, you have, like, established that you want your role to be, like, kind of like the dominant one, the leader, the one to reach out, initiate, make plans, things like that. But I think for them, because they also want the same thing, they're like, well, is that even going to work for me? I think that towards the middle of this month and the end of this month, those ideas will kind of be battling, and it'll feel like they're making a decision on whether or not this feels worth, pursuing any further or making arguments about anymore, if you are just going to be taking this, like, role of leadership. But I think what you can learn is, because you have the Queen of Wands in reverse here in the future, I think you're going to start learning that this role that you are, like, projecting onto the relationship and, like, forcing upon yourself, because let's think about it again, like, this person's not asking you to be in charge, and you're not asking them to be in charge. You just want to be, like, working in a stable manner, like this, like, family card that I pulled earlier. But you're going to start becoming burdened by this kind of role that you have to take on, and they're going to sense that tension. I think that's what this Judgment card is showing me. I'm going to pull a Messages of Love Oracle card to see what your person's really thinking, just to clarify, this present and this future card, the Hermit in reverse and the Judgment card. Ooh, okay. So I pulled this. This came out, none of the rest of the cards are, face forward, and this one came out. And then I got this one. So I have boundaries and here and now. So the boundaries card says firm boundaries are needed now. You can see that. And then we have here and now. Your true love is already a part of your life. So this person is already thinking, you guys are really compatible. Like I said, in your past relationships, for both of you, it just hasn't really worked out to the point where the person is able to handle your personality. I think you have found your match and your equal, and that's really good. But like this card says, you need to be setting boundaries. You both feel like you need to be in charge and, like, the front man of the relationship, but that's not necessarily the case. I think that you need to be communicating and expressing what kind of roles that you think that you've been, like, forced to take on or things like that. And set those boundaries. This person is in love with you, and they want to be with you, and they see you as, like, their perfect match. And I think you see the same. Like, you guys are equals, and I think that's what you've been wanting in a relationship for both of you. But there's just, like, not enough boundaries here, and you haven't communicated enough to express that. I'm gonna pull one more emotional oracle card here to get a sense of what kind of, like, guiding emotion you should have when you do communicate with this person, and set those boundaries, and what kind of, like, this discussion will be like. or what it'll be about. Kind of what is your person bringing to the equation here. So let's see. All right, so I think it's really interesting that for you, I pulled family, and then for them, I pulled home. So I think, like I said, this is a very stable relationship. This is a relationship where you guys do belong together. You are equals. You should be equals. You should be acting as, like, equal partners in this because there is stability in your future. But I think right now you are just battling with, like, boundaries and being able to express, your needs. I think that at the moment you are feeling like they're not initiating enough and they were feeling like, you were doing it to overcompensate. And I think that you guys, because you both are really strong personalities, like I said, need to be, reconciling to understand these differences and, I don't know, act as partners, act as equal partners. This person clearly sees you as, like, home. You're their home, you know what I mean? And they see you as their true love. If you can see the here and now card that I pulled earlier. So there's no question of if this person is interested in you, if this is someone that you're pursuing, or if you're in a relationship, there's no question that they love you. But I think that you just need to be communicating, communication. That's, like, hard to explain, but I think that at the moment there's, like, this ebb and flow of who's reaching out more, and it's, like, this competition, and it doesn't have to be a competition. So I hope you keep that in mind for this mid-month reading, Pisces, and I hope that this resonates. Thank you.